You ever pull up to your own house after a quiet weekend away and feel, before you even see it, that something's gone sideways? That's how it started for me. You know what I mean? You turn off the old county road, expecting nothing but the usual gravel crunch and maybe a squirrel darting across the drive, and instead you spot a paper plate nailed to your fence, says, "Community barbecue this way," in big, red, kindergarten handwriting. I thought maybe some kids were pulling a prank, or some neighbor had lost their mind with a marker, but as soon as I crested the hill by my pond, I knew. Hell, I knew. This was going to be one for the record books. My 6-acre patch looked like the infield at some washed-out music festival. Tents all over, grass mashed flat, plastic chairs toppled every direction, and a big old inflatable arch blocking my private road, the one I built and maintained with my own 2 hands and a worn-out shovel. The thing read, "Aspen Hills Block Party. All residents welcome." My pool, my horses, my solar well pump. All of it hijacked for a party I never approved. And there, in my porch chairs, were 3 adults and a teenager, just lounging like they'd paid for the view. I hadn't even been gone 2 days, just ran down to Pueblo to see my brother, and now I'm staring at strangers splashing in my pool, someone's Labrador tied to my hitch post, and Karen Miller, queen of the HOA, waving at me with a mojito and a clipboard like this was all perfectly reasonable. "Oh, Sam, there you are," she calls out, all smiles, like she didn't just orchestrate a full-scale invasion. "We thought you were out of town until Monday. This is all in the new expansion map, Section D, Common Area. Congratulations. Now, let me back up a sec. I built this fence, put down every post, paid for every survey, every plat, and there's my name, right there at the county, clear as daylight." But Karen just sips her drink and rattles off some story about a clerical update, a trust, and a new map that puts my land under the HOA umbrella, all supposedly above board. I tell her, point blank, this is private land. It's mine. There's a deed. There's GPS. I built the damn fence. She just laughs and says, "Oh, you must not have read the revised covenants. You signed last year. It's on file." You ever get that feeling like the world just spun a little too fast? That was me. I dialed the sheriff. Deputy Martinez showed up, squinting at the inflatable arch like maybe he was hallucinating, too. I laid out the maps, the deed, even the boundary marker I poured myself. Karen had her packet ready. HOA documents, an expansion proposal, a signature on top. My name. Neat cursive. Not mine. Martinez looks at me, asks if it's my signature. Hell no, I tell him. He sighs, says this looks civil, not criminal. And oh, by the way, someone reported me for reaching for a firearm when I got home. All I could do was breathe deep and remind myself not to lose it on my own land. I didn't sleep that night. I sat at the table, drowning in paperwork and coffee, thinking about every line on every map, every signature I'd ever scrawled. Someone had filed a fake consent letter, full of sugary words I'd never say, giving the HOA recreational management over my back pasture. This wasn't a misunderstanding, it was fraud, and it was personal. Next morning, I took it straight to Denise at the county clerk's office. She wasn't surprised. Aspen Hills HOA had been busy, filing grants, rezoning, boundary expansions, all in the last year and a half. She pulled up a PDF. There's my parcel number, my name, a forged signature, and a community expansion file. Not only that, but there was a letter from me, dated nearly a year ago, supporting some green space project. Complete fiction. I had her print 5 copies. This was war. Then I found out about the Aspen Hills Green Space Trust, a nonprofit Karen's cousin Derek runs, set up just in time to collect a $50,000 city grant for community integration. My backyard, my barn, my well, all marked as public green belt on the city map. Every move, a chess piece sliding just out of sight. They'd even gone and registered everything proper with the Secretary of State. You ever feel like you're losing your grip, like the world's gone mad and you're the only sane one left? That was my Tuesday. But I wasn't done. I filed complaints. County Property Review, State Land Survey, District Attorney, Homeowners Advocacy Board. Got the same shoulder shrug from everyone. This may require private litigation. Meanwhile, Karen's hosting yoga on my west pasture, and the HOA's acting like my house is a public rec center. Final straw? Code enforcement, asking to inspect community facilities. I hand him my deed, a map, the fake signature, tell him to get a lawyer. He leaves in a hurry. That night, I called Devin Fry, college buddy, now local news, tell him I've got a story. He drives out, films drone shots of my crime scene, pool, and interviews me, and I hand him every scrap of evidence. Maps, grant docs, fake nonprofits, the lot. He's in. Public pressure, he says, can move mountains. Retaliation was fast. Anonymous letters, fireworks near my rear fence, caught on trail cam. Then a county inspector asking about waste dumping by the creek, which, for the record, doesn't even have plumbing nearby. Karen was pulling every lever she could, bureaucracy, rumors, subtle harassment, trying to make me the bad guy. That's when I doubled down. Hired a private surveyor from out of county, drone scans, legal docs, every boundary ironclad. Wired up new trail cams, infrared, motion, time-stamped, cloud backup. I wasn't just defending the land. I was building a case, brick by brick. Then came the twist. Mrs. Callahan, old school teacher at the edge of Aspen Hills, stops me at the feed store. Overheard Karen laughing about having friends in zoning and filing first, asking forgiveness later. That's when I realized this wasn't about me. It was about power. So I called Marvin Dillard, ex-cop, private eye, the kind of guy who can smell a rat across state lines. He sends over Riley, a sharp-as-nails corporate investigator who blends into the HOA crowd like she was born at a Whole Foods sample table. Riley goes undercover as a green infrastructure investor, fishing for info, and Karen takes the bait, bragging about how paperwork wins, how precedent is all that matters, and how reluctant landowners just need a little creative reframing. All caught on cam. Legal, Colorado's a one-party state. Karen admits to forging, manipulating, and controlling the file cabinet. Boom. We file suit. Eric Bannister, my lawyer, old jag, crusty and brilliant, takes the footage, the docs, the grant paper trail, everything. Subpoenas fly. We serve Karen during yoga. Devin airs the story. The internet erupts. Karen releases a panicked public statement, blames over-enthusiastic volunteers. Then, twist again. A board member named Marcus flips, hands over minutes, emails, proof Karen kept the land grab secret, and coordinated with zoning officer Lot Man. Fast tracks, wink emojis, the works. The city and the state start to sweat. The nonprofit's grant fund is audited. Most of the money went to Karen's cousin's shell company, event support, and, you guessed it, bulk mojito mixers and bounce houses for parties held on my land. Riley gets invited to a fancy steakhouse HOA mixer. She doesn't need to go. We have it all. By hearing day, my office looks like a detective's bunker. Maps, receipts, affidavits, survey folders, stills from every cam. My steel-fortified fence is up, every post etched with GPS coordinates. At court, the jury hears it all. Forensic doc examiner shows how they cut and pasted my signature from an old fence easement. Insurance adjuster details the damages. Fence, pool, garden. The county zoning officer cracks under questioning. Marcus testifies, says Karen called the board a formality. The defense tries to blame confusion, calls me a cranky anti-community type. Nobody buys it. Riley's footage plays. Karen, laughing about paperwork, saying whoever controls the file cabinet wins. The jury's stone-faced. Verdict? Fraud, trespass, forgery, conspiracy, $140,000 in damages. Judge refers Karen for criminal prosecution, right there in court. Couple weeks later, sheriff hauls Karen out of her house in cuffs. News travels fast. HOA president charged with land fraud, faces 3 years. She takes the deal, suspended sentence, house arrest, restitution, barred from HOA leadership for life. The Aspen Hills green space trust evaporates. Zoning officer Lot Man gets quietly let go. The city adds new checks for annexation. Karen's cousin skips town. The whole game falls apart. And me? I rebuild my fence stronger, wire up cameras and sensors, not out of spite, just so I can sleep. The horses settle back in, though Hank, the jumper, still eyes the fence like he's waiting for another invasion. Neighbors start dropping by, swapping their own HOA horror stories. Beige garage doors, birthday party permits, you name it. Turns out I'm not the only one. Now, folks call asking for advice about deeds, maps, boundary disputes. I never wanted to be a spokesperson, but here I am, testifying at reform panels, helping others stand up for what's theirs. My granddad left me this land, and I won't let anybody redraw the lines because they feel entitled. Not today, not ever. I stood my ground, and now I help others do the same. So, what do you think? Was I right to fight back? Or is community progress just another excuse to trample property rights? Let me know down in the comments. Share your own stories. And don't forget, sometimes the only thing between your home and a paper-pushing bully is you saying, "No, not on my land."